All right, welcome. It's been a little while, but this was a nice little box. For as little as it is, it gave me some interesting learning experiences. So, first off, let's jump right in. Um, One little note is that Burp was making my virtual machine lag so much. And I realized I only had 2 cores dedicated to my virtual machine. So I devoted 6 cores and the problem went away. Anyways, so let's go nmap. Target is interface.local. I'll just do that. I think we have very little that's open. Maybe SSH and HTTP. So let that run for a second. I'm eating some ice cream too a little bit. All right. So basically this is all going to be done through Burp. And it's pretty easy if you know what to do. I didn't before, so this was kind of a hard box for me. But I enjoyed learning the stuff that I did, and I'll demonstrate that. It'll be a fun time. All right, nmap is it's going slow. It's whatever though, doesn't matter. Oh, there, of course. All right, so we see you have port 80. When I first went through it, I went through like GoBuster and DearBuster, found nothing. So, not gonna waste your time. Spoiler alert. There's nothing. So then, there are a few different options because I've been looking into a little more on the website. But we're going to look at one in particular here using Burp. So, we're going to turn the intercept on. And I have the browser open. And start by going to interface.local. And one thing that let's just turn the intercept off for a second. And I actually need to close this out so I get a new and different cookie. Probably do that manually, but I am not that smart yet. And I'm not ashamed to say it. With 6 cores, this thing launches fast. Alright. Proxy, intercept, we're going to turn that off for now. Open browser. Get this window a little smaller so it's not so obnoxious. Alright. And we should see the light interface. Yes, with the background. Alright. So, first step. We see this. We've got top users. So that immediately gives us maybe potential to start with some brute forcing. And immediately, that's actually what I did the first time through. It was sort of clumsy though. And I'm not even sure that I was doing the right thing. Because I'd never brute forced a web login. So, luckily I did finally figure out how to do it. It was learned because I definitely didn't figure it out. But I have it in my notes. So for the future, I can hit that. Anyways, so we're looking here, and let's the username, password. Let me just tell you, brute forcing these does not work at all. Let's do this again. Let's reload, and let's see what this gives us. There's a request to interface.local, and we're getting that. That's fine. Not too much. Icon. Okay. And then this is something. Get from API settings. Get API users. And then get whatever this is. Oh, it's from Google. Okay. Get API settings and API users. So that's what we're supposed to get from there. No pun intended, really. Let me show you something. And this is super silly. So we're going to go curl. Interface.local API users. Let's see if this works. Boom. Gives us a list of users. Now that may not look too intimidating until you scroll back up. There are 2,000 users in that list. So, the critical path through this. Because, yeah, I spent some time going through this the hard way. I spent some time. And obviously with all these user IDs, at least one of them has to work, right? So with this box, the assumption is that at least one of them has something of a default credential. And so the critical path through this box has you brute forcing each username using the password of password. Nope. So the way that we do that, let's see. There we go. I have users.text, which is the listing of these user IDs, only one per line. And the way you do that is using JQ. Oh, it's not in here. See if it's in here. Nope. It's fine. It's in my notes. I'm going to find it real fast. Let's see. Oh, there we go. So, actually, I'll just do the whole one-liner. Copy. So that is the thing to do. Curl the site, and then JQ single quotes dot brackets are whatever that does. I'll learn it someday, not today. And then cat users dot text turns all that bracket stuff into one per line. All right, so now how do we do this? To iterate through each of those users, you do for user in cat users.text do curl. And I guess we haven't covered that the URL is /login. Let's do that really fast. So the intercept is on. Submit. Post to login. I made so many mistakes with this box. Just stupid mistakes. So, but hey, it happens. I learned to love the repeater, so I'm sending that to the repeater. Anyways, for user in cat users.text, do curl interface to local /login. Yeah. This in particular was the piece that was really giving me trouble as far as making, being able to do each of these usernames once through the loop, etc. So let's see. Is that good? So we're doing username, user name, and then password. And what it's going to do is it's going to grep for anything that isn't unauthorized. What it's doing too is it's sending the request result, like the web page that it sends back, it's sending that to the trash. So when you send this here, all it's giving you is the content. It's sending this stuff to the trash, dev null. So it's grepping for anything that doesn't say unauthorized. And when it finds that, it's going to echo the user and then be done. Well, it'll keep going through, but once it goes through all 2,000 user IDs, it'll be done. So we'll let that go. I don't know how fast it goes through, but it's, how long can it take? Well, it can take a little while. After this, what we're going to do, of course, is we're going to log in. And then again, we're going to monitor and see what the response is. Now, the first time I went through that, that was a hard stop. I had to get the walkthrough because it turns out one thing that I should have had, I didn't have. And I have no idea why. Maybe I'm going to see it this time through, or maybe I'm just going to have to cheat and put it in manually. But we'll get to see it here. And I'm going to pause this because I have nothing else to talk about for the moment. Here we go. It just found it. And you see it's not done with the script yet. But it returned the thing that didn't say unauthorized. And then it returned the username. So there we go. We have the username of dev account and the password of password. So let's actually just use burp. So we're going to send that. Oh, look, 200 okay. Yay. All right. So let's just update that in flight there. And we see, obviously, I haven't seen that whole entire thing. Never. And it logs us in. Now, there isn't too much happening here, is there? Not too much at all. We look at the source and very little happening. Cancel. Now, click on dark mode and we see here, and this is the rub because it's still not happening. And I'm going to put this over to the repeater. What is supposed to be here, let me just double check this. Nope, nothing. There's supposed to be admin being false. And you're just supposed to change false to true, and that's it. So, it's supposed to look just like this. And since it's a Boolean value, you don't need quotes. We change it to true. And I'm sorry that I had to cheat on that, but I didn't find it. It just isn't there, as you can see. And so then we reload the page. And now the server knows that we're admin. Hopefully. There we go. That was a lot of anticipation. But we have this here now. So, what do we do with this? We've got a box that we can type in and a clicky button that we can clicky. Let's just clear that out. let's see what clicking the box does. We back up logs, and we see what it's doing. You get API backup, and then file name equals whatever. So yeah. Well, let's just drop that for funsies. And look at that. It gave that return. Don't worry about that. Let's do hello. And we see get API backup file name equals hello. So obviously what we type in here gets processed in some way. So we can imagine that when it's doing a backup, it's naming the file hello. So now obviously we want to see if we can get some remote code execution here. Now, one thing I'm going to skip over and get straight to the answer is that this is basically part of a script, maybe an internal part of the script. So we need to prepend and append whatever we type with semicolons. So ping C2, and then this is going to be my IP address. Over there on the right, 49.133. Boom. And now I'm going to set up TCP dump. Listen for ICMP. Get that down. And we're going to send that. And we see... oh, whatever. There we go. Here's the next one. And we see it's a little URL encoded, at least the spaces. Do that. And we've got a couple of pings that came through. So obviously remote code execution has been achieved. So the next thing is, how do we get a shell? I wasted some time trying to get a Python. Well, actually, let me back up to the very first thing. I started with a bash shell like this, and it didn't like the greater than sign. It's like, okay. So next I tried to upload a Python reverse shell or PHP reverse shell, and that didn't work. In a way, I think it seemed as if I didn't have PHP on there. Spoiler alert, Netcat does work. However, first off, I didn't think of it. And also, I'm really trying not to rely on Netcat-E because it's not necessarily very common. Unless you put it on the host, it's probably not going to have it compiled in this insecure fashion. So, anyways, as I went through my day today, I was thinking about this, and I realized that the greater than sign being a bad character is similar to another box that I did a while ago. And on that one, the Python shell actually worked. So what I did, and it was magical, I actually recorded my reaction to like right after I did it, is I just did that. This whole massive thing, boundaried with semicolons. And let me get my Netcat listener, because spoiler alert, it's gonna work. That's... are we ready? I hope I did it right. Forward. There we go. And even better, we went straight to root. So that's pretty easy to get that flag. Let me just upgrade the shell for funsies. Is that over there? Nope. That's my VPN. Dude. I didn't realize it at first, and I saw, oh, root interface. All right. So that was a nice, very brief privilege escalation. So like I said, this is a nice little box that I really enjoyed. I learned some stuff. And yeah, I know not necessarily very much happened in this video, even though it's 20 minutes. One big thing I do want to note is that curl one-liner, I took a minute and you know, I really explained to myself how it worked because I really liked it. Let me. I wrote out. It's like, this works as long as I have the right IP and file. So there's the script, and then here's the explanation. So, anyways, you can pause and read that through if you like. Other than that, I appreciate you watching, and we're going to keep on partying.